verse 13. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abram your father, and the God of Isaac. The land in which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring. Okay? So here God standing on the top, and God says something. And this, what he's saying is that he is the Lord, the God of Abram, your father, and the God of Isaac. So he's making Jacob as if he's the son of Abram, and not the son of Isaac, son of Abram. So yeah, we are ultimately Isaac, the son of Abram. Jacob is a son of Abram in faith. Later on, not here, later on. We are sons of Abram in faith, but ultimately God is our father. So this introduction of God is like the first time God introduces himself as the father of Abram and the God of Isaac. So Abram and Isaac being mentioned. Right? That does not imply that Isaac is dead, right? Because Abram was dead, and therefore that's not the implication. It's just this introduction, so they know that he is, right? Like he is his grandfather's God, and he is his father's God. So by implication, that will make him his God, kinda. Then God gives him the promise that the land in which he's lying now, where nobody wanted to invite him in to come and sleep in a house or something. So it's like Jesus, there was no place for him in his family's house, right? In the guest house at his family's home for Mary, right? Not in the inns, no inns around. So, so yeah, he this land where he therefore could not find a place, nobody wanted to invite a stranger in. This will be his land and his offspring. So, land, offspring, the same thing that Isaac now told him, the same thing that God promised to Abram, to Isaac, and the same thing is now in a dream being said by God ultimately to Jacob. So clearly this shows as well that Jacob is the one to continue the blessing. Jacob is the one that's chosen by God for this, to take the prophecy and ultimately the coming of Jesus further. Not Esau, Jacob. Jacob, the chosen one, the predestined one. Verse 14. Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south, and your offspring shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Now the exact kind of same thing he told the others as well, right? Offspring, uncountable, dust of the earth. I mean, there's again a lot of dust around here. I mean, gee, there's more dust in this road than there are humans on this planet. So, yeah, but it's the idea of it's an uncountable number of people. So I don't think like there's ever going to be this kind of this many people, except if we start colonizing other planets and fill them up with people and colonize more and fill them up with more people and then until we have like 1 billion planets full of people and something, maybe then we will attain this. But the whole point is this is not saying that this is, it's not saying like count the dust and you can't anyhow count it. So that they will have a lot, okay, just a lot. So if you go from one sun to 1 million suns, you go from yeah, that's exponential growth, a huge growth. And I think all of us would love having stock in a company that goes from this to that kind of idea. And the land, okay. So he's going to spread out, right? He will be everywhere, south, north, east, west, right? And there will be a blessing. We've seen this before, now it's well stated by God. But the idea that there will be a curse at this stage is not mentioned. Verse 15. Behold, I'm with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I've done what I've promised you. Okay, so God continues saying that the added is that He will be with him. Okay, I mean, for Jacob, not being used to living out there in sleeping outside, for having a kind of a relaxed life under his mother's skirt kind of idea, to now be in this dire place, going somewhere he doesn't really know, has never been. It would have been, I mean, if you're an adventurer and you go on an adventure, then it's okay, because you kind of used it, you know what to expect. But you go to a place where you have never been, and you're not the adventurous kind of type, then man, that's very depressing, or it can be a huge. It can be very difficult, super difficult. Yeah, I remember as well when I went to Russia the first time. I was young and all these kinds of things. I had no idea what's waiting for me, but I knew kind of this is God's will. So this is what God is doing him. God is giving him this idea that, or not giving him, giving him his promise, I'm with you. Okay, Jacob, you don't understand now. Well, I mean, ultimately, the reason he understood the reason he's fleeing. The reason is because of his deceit. But there's more to it than that. And God's like, I will be with you. Okay, so Jacob sleeping down outside where nobody wants to give him a place to sleep. God gives him this promise that he is with him. Okay, and that God will bring him back there. Right, God will bring him back to that land, and that he will not leave till he has done everything he has promised him. Okay, it's going to be fulfilled only years later. 20 odd years later, right, when he at last get there back, and it changed Jacob. It totally changed Jacob. Verse 16. Then Jacob woke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. Yeah, sure, okay. He never had to face these difficulties. He never had to depend on God in such a way as he needs to depend now. He had his mother to depend on. He had his father's money to depend on. He had it all. He never had to depend on God in such a way. And so, yeah, he was not going anyhow to know that God is there. Right? Because he's not used to this. So this is then what he did when he woke up. He said, I don't know God is here, right? Verse 17. And he was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Okay, like R.C. Sproul always like to say, is that, yeah, we as humans, we create gods. Okay? We create lots of gods. But we create gods in our image, basically. We don't create the God of the Bible. When people meet an earthly God or their created God, they're not afraid of this God because they created this God. They understand. They know what this God wants. This God wants you to say 5 Hail Marys. This God wants you to throw a baby into a volcano or an earthquake crack or something like this. This God wants this, that God wants that, kind of. They kind of all knew all these kind of things. It's easier for them to handle a God like that. But God, the only true God, is a holy God. He's totally other. So every time when people meet the true God, there's fear, right? There is fear. You see it when Peter. You see it through the prophets in the Old Testament, meeting God and how they were afraid. We see it when the angel appeared to Mary. We see it when Jesus was there with Peter and helping him with a big catch, right? The boats couldn't handle it, kind of idea. And Peter said, get away from me because I'm sinful, right? This is the normal reaction to quite a lot different than the modern Christian reaction of, okay, God is like our body kind of idea. Yeah, their God is like their body. I guess they're manipulating him, they're forcing things from him. He's their Santa Claus. No, yeah, God like that, yeah, right. But that's not God. That's a made up man, made God. In this case, we again see his reaction is fear. He's afraid. And in calling this is the house of God, the gate of heaven. Okay, so it's like near heaven. Heaven is ultimately kind of everywhere. Because God is everywhere. Right now, yeah, it is ultimately as well a kind of a place. We just have no idea where he is. Up is here, and for people on the other side of the world, up is in other direction. So to say it's up, kind of, people remember as a kid in school, 6-year-old, we would sing, this idea of lift up our hands to heaven, kind of idea, to Jesus up, heaven's up there, kind of idea, right? And I always then even thought, how is this possible? I'm in this side of the earth, and I point in that direction, and people on this side of the earth point in that direction, so we're pointing in different directions, kind of. Now, yes, God is in both directions, but Jesus was God in human body, sitting on the throne. He is in a certain specific place. Okay, so ultimately there is kind of somewhere, right, the concept where Jesus is on his throne, there would be heaven. Okay, and for born again people, when they die, they go to heaven until they would come back with Jesus, when Jesus comes back to earth, whenever that might be. We have no idea when, in his time.